welcome to Paper Crafting with Tammy. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. It is awesome to see you here. I have a great project for us today that we're going to start on in just a minute. If you haven't done it yet, take a minute and hit that big red subscribe button so you see what else I've got for you next time. And let's get started. Today I'm going to be featuring a layout out of the Kiwi Club Idea Book Volume 3. So my inspiration is actually on page 90 of that book. I'll pop that up just a little bit more so you can see it. Really fun layout. Love the movement of this border. And then these really nice big background chunks to minimize the amount of photo backing that you need to do. So that's going to be the layout that we're working from today. And I pulled out some photos that I've got from Halloween back in 2017. And so these are going to be the color palette that I need to work with. And when I got looking to see what I had that would work, I remembered that I have not used all of my Kiwi Club Kit from October 2018. I think this was the first year of the club. This is called Boo and Stuff. And I don't have all of it in this collection right here, but this is the palette that I've chosen to work with for today. So I'm going to use this as my background sheets. And then I really love this beautiful teal. This is really the busiest pattern in here. It's these really fun multicolored pumpkins. This triangle kind of splatter print ties in all of those colors, and then a little pop of this orange I think will be really nice too. So this is the palette that we'll be working with, and that goes really well with these photos. So that's what we'll be using today. I also chose a few sentiment cards, and I'm not sure exactly which ones I'll use, but I loved the colors and the way they worked with this collection, this palette. And so that will be another choice that I'll be making along the way today. So grab some supplies if you want and create right along with me, or just watch and enjoy, and hopefully it'll inspire you to do some creating on your own. Thanks for tuning in today. Okay, so I went ahead and laid out the basic idea for what I'm gonna do with today's layout. So just like in the idea book, I used a strip up here. So this is just a 2-inch strip. And then the motion pieces are the Happy Trails fun border. So it's Happy Trails 3A and 3B. And I'll show you how you can layer those to cut those really efficiently. Down here at the bottom of this right-hand page, I'm using a 1-inch strip and a 1/2-inch strip. And then the way that the layout was done on the idea book page, there were a couple of big color blocks here, which I really like, but I also wanted to pull in these templates that were actually part of this kit. And it's these a la carte frames. So there's a la carte frame 1 and frame 2. And then this is actually frame 3. So I don't think I'm going to use these as a frame. I think I'm just going to use this outside pattern and trace it on the paper so that the blocks that I have here have this really fun shape to them. For embellishments today, so far I've brought in the a la carte cauldron. And then this is one of the Tiny Holiday pieces. This little pumpkin is from Tiny Holiday. It's 4T. So that's the basic idea. And I'm going to start making some paper choices. Some of the cutting I'm going to go ahead and do on screen with you. And then some of it I will just kind of show you as I get it done. This is one of the busier pieces that's going to be pulled into this layout. It is a directional piece, so I don't really want to use it for something like the Happy Trails because it's going to end up getting turned sideways, and that would bug my eye. So I want to go ahead and use this for this 2-inch strip up here. And then I'm also going to use it for one of these frames. It probably will end up being this smaller one because obviously I've already used part of this paper. I don't have a ton of it left. So I want to make sure that I have enough to give a nice little pop of that to pull it across the page. And that'll be my choice for that. This orange is super bright. So I really think that for me, this orange is just going to be this little 1/2 inch strip here. And then I'll see if I need to add any more pieces of it just to carry it across the page. It is in that pumpkin sheet, so there'll be a lot of it to balance out. So I think that's going to be good. This really beautiful teal is the color that I'm going to use for this 1 inch strip here. And probably for this larger frame piece. It's going to be a nice background for some of the photos I have, and it's just such a beautiful color. And then this really fun triangle print that has all of the colors that I'm using today. This is another really good unifying piece. I'm going to use this to do the Happy Trails 3A and 3B. So let's go ahead and start with this one so I can show you how to trace these in a way that will save some of your paper. If you look carefully at these and you play with them a little bit, there is a way to put them so that they stack. So that's just an important thing to notice when you go to use these for the first time. I'm going to move them up just enough that I have a large enough piece to be used for something else later. I don't want a little tiny skinny strip because that's going to end up just being wasted. So I'm going to go ahead and trace this top one. I can move it aside. Get this one traced, both top and bottom. Okay. So now when I do a trimmer, a straight trimmer cut here, I'm going to go ahead and cut it a little bit bigger, and that way I'll have this piece left over and this piece left over for another project, and then I'll have these two, which will be great for this layout. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do some cutting off camera and see you in a minute. Okay, so I did most of the cutting that we talked about and put those pieces of paper into place. So I'm liking how those colors are working across the page. I did want to show you that for a layout like this, I do tend to use a black ink instead of the typical vintage photo that I use. So this is just a Tim Holtz Distress ink. It's called Black Soot. But with a layout like this where the pieces are primarily dark and the background has a lot of black, I just prefer the black inking to the brown. So I am just dabbing my finger dauber, and you just do a quick kind of flick on the edges. Make sure you're not dragging it on the edge. When you drag it on the edge, you tend to slice your finger dauber, and that gets expensive. So you don't want to do that. So I'm just going around this last frame, and then we'll lay that down and take a look at how the photos are going to work on this particular layout. So that's going to go there. Again, I really like how that's carrying the colors across. It's a good addition. So the photos I have are all Halloween related, of course. So the couple that I was thinking about putting over on this side are a picture of my son on the steps, and then this is one with his grandpa. And that one is big enough, and I might do some trimming, that it could go right on the frame. This one I'm going to trim down a bit, I think, but I'm not going to try to center it on there. I'm just going to jog it off and then use this little piece here for an embellishment. I've got several photos that I want to fit here, so I'm literally going to be blocking in this entire space with pictures. So I'll need to figure out exactly how I want to trim those down. But I've got some 4x6s that I think will fit well across here. And then down in this bottom section, I've got several more 4x6s that I'm going to need to cut down and try to block those across the bottom. So something like this, but I'll need to do a little bit of trimming there. As far as these embellishment pieces, I think this Wicked Good Time is gonna be darling with this cauldron. So I'm gonna go ahead and trace that on the cauldron, and I'll get that cut out and put here. This one says, I've never met a pumpkin I didn't like. So since this whole side is the pumpkin carving, I'm gonna go ahead and trace that on this cute little Holiday 4T. And that one will go somewhere over here or up top, I'm not sure yet. And then this a la carte frame is gonna work well on this one, which says pumpkin faces dance and gleam and ghosts walk by on Halloween. And that's gonna give just another cute little pop on this side. So those will be my next steps that I'm gonna go ahead and complete and get those inked, and I'll start kind of manipulating these photos a bit and check in with you in a minute. Okay, so I got those little embellishments traced and cut, and I'm happy with how things are coming together. I had originally planned to have this little pumpkin down here, but it's just so busy. I think I'm gonna go ahead and scooch it up here, and that can be just a little detail up at that top part of the page. I've got a lot of turquoise going on over here, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I am going to be pulling in a little bit to offset that a bit. So one of the things that I want to do is bring in this tiny charmed piece. So this is Tiny Charmed 3. It's like a little file folder label. So I'm going to go ahead and trace that. And I just think that extra little pop of orange will be a nice touch. And I'm gonna make 2 of them, just in case I decide to put one on that lower photo as well. So these will be an easy place to throw a date, a name, just some little quick detail, or even to leave blank, just to give the color pop. So that's one of the modifications that I decided to make along the way. I'm also going to pull in some little ghosts that I found. I thought bringing a little bit more white into this would be good. And then as I was cutting out this sentiment down here, it says, pumpkin faces dance and gleam and ghosts walk by on Halloween. And I thought, oh, that'll be perfect. I can pull some little ghosties in. It'll be a fun little accent, and it'll kind of play on that sentiment. So, all right. So just that little pop right there, I think will be a good addition. And then possibly here, I don't want it on his head. So maybe even just down here or here. So I'll play with that a little bit and decide where might be a good spot to put that. Okay, and I'll get those ones inked as well. But look at these cute little ghosties. So these are fun. They're cut out of just a glitter cardstock. So I thought these would be great. And I'm gonna do a couple here, coming out of this cauldron. So maybe one behind and one on top, something like that. And that carries that white across a bit. I could do another little one here. I do have some other sizes, so I might pull out another small one. This feels awfully big. So yeah, I'll probably pull a small one in, maybe up here. I'll keep playing with that. But just a fun little touch to go ahead and bring in. The other thing I decided is that I'm not crazy about the square photos on there. Something about that straight, sharp corner on this really fun curve is bugging me. So I'm gonna go ahead and corner round these just to soften them up a little bit. And then we'll pop that back on. And I just think that's a little better look on that background. I'm going to do the same with this one. So at this point, aside from finding another little ghosty to pull in, this layout just needs to be taped down and it is really done and ready to go. So I hope that you had fun creating with me today and maybe picked up another tip or trick, or just got inspired to play and do something of your own. So I really appreciate you joining me, and I hope to see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.